Hi, everyone, and welcome once again to the Construction Trades Leadership Podcast. This is the podcast where we discuss leadership development in the construction industry. I'm your host, Brad Anderson, and hopefully we can join each other on our leadership journeys. This is episode 7, Decluttet to Feel Less Overwhelmed. So last time we discussed getting back on track after getting sidetracked, and technically I'm still 1 week behind from where I want to be, but here goes keeping on track. Last week, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of things I had to do, both work related and personal. And while looking for topics for the podcast, I reflected on that and I looked a bit around. I noticed the level of clutter I had around me had gone up significantly. And I don't know if it started with physical clutter or email clutter or anything like that, but it grew all over the place. And like algae in a pond, it seems like it doubles every day if left unchecked. So you got to keep it down to zero, or keep it at a manageable level, or it's just going to kind of like an algae bloom get out of control. So after deciding the topic, I decided to declutter immediately, clean things up, and immediately I felt more productive and started to get things done. Today was a much more productive day, having started the day with no clutter. So hopefully this can help you too. As stated before, we're discussing being overwhelmed. It's a feeling we all get when having quite a bit to do, and there's the stuff we should be doing, the other things we want to be doing, and the other things we end up doing. We really want to get rid of that last one because we want to be the most effective versions of ourselves possible. And have you ever noticed when you feel the busiest, you also tend to be the most distracted? So what can you do about that? Well, the one thing you do, keep those distractions at bay, or in other words, reduce the amount of clutter you have in your life. Not only does this help you be more productive and more effective and be the highest version of yourself possible, but you'll feel less stressed, and feeling less stressed will help you live longer and happier. So what is clutter? There are 3 kinds of clutter: physical clutter, digital clutter, and mental and emotional clutter. The last 2 could probably be separated, but we're going to keep them the same here for our conversation and keep it moving. So physical clutter, the first thing you'll probably think about when you think of clutter is physical clutter, and it could be anything from excess materials on your job site to papers on your desk to the pile of mail you have around, or the trash that builds up in your car, excess shit you have in the back of your truck. On a job site, could be materials you don't use immediately that fill up the workspace. It can be excess stock, trash, equipment, anything like that that's not being used and doesn't need to be there at the moment. The problem on a construction site is to be many trades that have built up the clutter, not just yours, so it may be difficult to control. And if supers aren't taking an active role in getting the problem resolved until it's already gotten out of hand, this is really too late. At this point, everyone's going to get upset and be pointing things all around, saying they don't have time to clean up. And when they do, it'll be a lot of wasted time moving materials from point A to point B, with some cleaning up, but just to a level that's just a little bit before it was a disaster. In reality, the super should set the expectations of how much stock should be around and how it should be stored, and keep everyone accountable from the beginning of a project. And honestly, it's at that really bad point. The best you can do is set a great example of your own materials and try to get others to do the same, and at least keep your work area, or get people to clean out your work area before you're working. That way you're not getting bogged down by all the shit. Other than on a job site, you can also have too much clutter at your office or your home. If you have too much papers on your desk, especially ones you're not immediately working on, this will keep your mind occupied and diverted from what you want to be accomplishing. So keep your desk and office workplace clean and organized, and you will end up being more productive. And while it may seem unproductive to stop working to do this, it'll probably be better than it'll probably get your stuff done faster than once this is done and once it's cleaned. And it's a little less effort to keep it that way. Next up is digital clutter, and this could be anything from apps on your phone to open web browsers, or the biggest distraction, excess emails in your inbox. I had a few good weeks going with my inbox clean and down to zero, and by the end of the day, then I slipped in and got out of hand. Now I was feeling noticeably more distracted, trying to get things done, and last night I actually took time to clean it out, and had a much more productive day today. One thing you could do is set up a couple sub boxes from your inbox, and you could have one labeled end of the day, one end of the week, or for any specific projects. You could put sub box in your inbox for that. Get them out of your main inbox so they're not constantly looking at them. Flag things you have to deal with, but move them out of there. Or you can move them to actual folders on your computer and delete the original, and you'll still have the other one. And that way, when you're looking for a specific item, it won't take too long. As far as apps go on your phone, these things are designed to be attention hogs. One thing to do is to mute or disable notifications from them. Next, remove any that aren't useful to. Like we talked about before, the busier you are, the more involved in something challenging and important, the more they will be drawn. The more they'll draw you into the phone to get that. Basically, get away from your reality where you're working on something hard that's difficult, and get that instant dopamine hit, something that's easy. And so the next thing carries over is a mental or emotional clutter. And this category can take several forms from, could probably be broken down into two entirely different categories, but for the sake of time, we're going to keep them together here. It could be tasks you have to do, things, and one thing you do there is write them down so you don't have to constantly think of them all the time. You have a good list of what you have to do. And the next thing is get rid of all the crap you are doing that's keeping you from being the most effective version of yourself. If you're filling your life with excess distractions and things that aren't towards your goals and becoming a better version of yourself, it's not. If it's, do you need to watch that YouTube video of the pig when you're on your deathbed? You're gonna be thinking about, oh, I wish I watched one more stupid YouTube video with pigs dancing or some shit like that. No, probably not. You're going to be thinking about all the things you want to do that would have been experiences you wish you had, loved ones which you wish you interacted with. So any crap you have like that's not serving productive purpose in your life, work to minimize that. See what the point of that is in your life. Any activities you're engaging in that don't serve your purpose, work to get them out of your life. They're going to tap your mental energy and keep you back from becoming the best leader and most effective version of yourself. And then as far as people and emotional clutter, and be particular about the people you interact with. There's only so many people you can interact with in a work setting or be in charge of. That's like 7 to 10 with the max you can be in charge of. If there's more than that, you got to start thinking about delegating and putting someone else in charge of a group of people. And then other interactions you have, whether it be digital interactions, are you arguing some shit with someone on Facebook or Instagram that you don't know, or even just following someone that you knew in high school and never even talked to then. And, what's the point of that? You're just drawing energy from your professional life, your work, people you're supposed to be in charge of there, and even worse, drawing attention from your family and friends and loved ones, your kids, and all that takes time and energy. Think to yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth drawing attention from all the things that are more important for all this bullshit that really has nothing to do with what with your life, and would have no effect if you actually didn't engage in it. So that's the mental and emotional clutter that could be really bogging you down. And then also people interactions. Are there any people in your life that are just not people you should be interacting with? People that don't serve your function well at all. um, people that drag you down, negativity, anything like that. Sometimes it's best to um, cut them out, or kind of have them in a place in your life where you're not interacting with them in their negative environment. So do an inventory check with that, and your phone can probably tell you how you're spending time with certain apps. Is it worth diluting the relationships to spend time doing that? Because there's only so much of you have, and anything else is distracting you. So check it out. See if you clean up that. And that's good for now. We'll stop there. We'll be back next week adding to our collective knowledge. And I said soon we'll have some guests, and we can get some other people's perspective and stories. And don't forget to check out constructiontradeleaders.com for our leadership courses and materials. And see you in a couple weeks for episode 8.